Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. Boy, we had another whirlwind day, and SCOTUS came up with a bunch of decisions we're going to talk about. And Ketanji Brown made a historical A-double-S of herself and was actually called out in a very rare form by other members of the Supreme Court. And we have peace breaking out all over the place. It's like a rash, a good rash. You want to scratch that rash. But anyway, I've got some videos put together while we have people coming in to the chats. And I hope you enjoy them. And then we're going to get down to business. Remember this guy? I remember him.
What Mr. Trump did yesterday was to betray the women and men of the FBI, the CIA, NSA, and others, and to betray the American public. And that's why I use the term that this is nothing short of treasonous, because it is a betrayal of the nation. He is giving aid and comfort to the enemy, and it needs to stop.
President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS. He founded ISIS. Say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law. Period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace. That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. If you want to really see something.
Donald, you must move your head.
Shenzo, you died, and I'd never got the chance to say goodbye.
Donald, I don't say goodbye. You need to remember your training. Move your head. I cannot explain. I must go.
Wait, Shenzo, if I never see you again, then and see you later, Space Cowboy.
But you will see me again, because there is one last thing that I must do.
Months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, Thank you, Shenzo.
I'll guard the roads, and I'll guard the skies.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. The Constitution really does give tremendous power.
are working on figuring out the identity of the FBI and DOJ staff and from lists.
I would direct a completely overhaul DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn. There are a lot of people out there that have done some things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Nice to see you all tonight. I hope you're doing well. That was a little synopsis of what we've been going through. Let's see, who's that at the top? Says, "Hey, Mountain Man." I can't see the name very well. Sissy's right below. Benjamin, is that Benjamin? It's hard to see. Robin, how you doing? Damon. Yes, it was Benjamin. There you are. Andrew, nice to see you. Yvonne. Is there some big event happening tonight? Who knows? We got events on top of events. It's hard to keep up. So many people are saying, gee whiz, things are moving so fast. Yes, they are. We have peace breaking out, but we have crossed a point of contention, these injunctions. But it is being hailed as a tremendous victory, and it is. If we had people who were not devious and conniving and abusive of their office, which is what we have with a lot of these judges. Where's a picture I put up many times? Somebody else put up about Bozoberg. Look at that thing. Look at that. Is that somebody that looks like he has your good in mind? Amuse put this up. Lawfare. In a shocking order, Judge Boasberg has issued a nationwide injunction blocking the SCOTUS ban on nationwide injunctions. Is that a joke? No. No, he's going to use a different tactic. And nitpick and pettifog. Pettifog. I'll have to get that story out that is in the book, the series of books, Last Best Hope. And the story of the term pettifog. They don't even want you using it, but I'm using it. Hi, Angela. And I hope it catches on, and gets placed back into our lexicon. Because that's exactly what these people are doing, pettifogging. But Ketanji Brown Jackson, I have a strategy that I think we would do well to implement in the future. Not just for dingbats like Ketanji Brown Jackson, but other judges that are a problem and seldom get removed, except for like Bozoberg, for the most egregious things. But when all they do is run around and aggravate the body politic and try to undermine elections and the result of elections. We need a way to get them out in a way that shows consensus and respects all three branches of our government. How do we do that? How do we do that? I'll tell you. I'll tell you what my proposal is here in a bit. But I have some videos where I play, like, where's John Woo at? He was putting it in a nutshell in a very short video. The elections, taking it upon themselves.
So this is a really big win for the presidency, not just Donald Trump, but the presidency, because what the court has also respected here is that the president is elected by the American people to carry out an agenda, and it's important and right for him to be able to pursue that throughout
the agenda of the American people. People like Bozo Berg don't like that agenda. And they think they know better than the American people. And then the constant babbling about respecting the judiciary. Well, they're losing respect very quickly. While this stuff is going on, we've got the big, beautiful bill. We've got everything coming out of the hopper from SCOTUS, which has been months, in some cases years, in the works to get to the certain point that we're at. We've got peace breaking out in Africa. We're coming on the tail end of this disaster deal that Obama created with Iran, finally being quashed. That and a dozen other things going on. Here's Senator Kennedy about the big, beautiful bill. I would say that's the next triumph that is necessary for this country, where we need to show unity and consensus and move forward. He puts it out there pretty plump and plain.
If we don't pass this bill, it will be in the history of America. So there are two doors here. Door number one, pass it, largest tax cut in the history of America. Door number two, don't pass it, largest tax increase, $4.3 trillion. That's how much taxes will go up on ordinary Americans, not just the rich. I know they're going to tell you that. It's just the rich. No, it's not. It's ordinary Americans. It's every American. We don't pass this bill. You raise taxes 4.3, and you watch this economy go down like a fat guy on a seesaw. We don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice. He's exactly right. We don't have a choice. And I think that's sinking in. Let that sink in, right? Hi, Pappy, how you doing? Stanton, nice to see you. Darla. Kim's here. How you doing, Kim? Melinda. Good to see you all. I'm trying to see if there's any other news going on. My gosh, things are moving so quickly. The left is really getting burned out, bummed out. Here is they had a thing up on Midas Touch. I didn't even copy it. It was like, oh, things are terrible. I don't want to even get up in the morning. Out of that. But then they put up this one. Pretty tired of living through historical events. This coupled with the other comment, why are you upset about success? Why are you upset about peace? Why are you upset about removing a nuclear threat? As clean our military did. Why does it aggravate you so? The comments on this little meme they put up. Living in a van down by the river is looking more tempting every day. Why? Where's your optimism? you have TDS so bad? A new cabinet member? Talking about Chris Farley. Every day I pray for the end of the world. Worst timeline. That's what a PSYOP does. Especially when you have people that are prone to be malcontents and miscreants. They fall right for it. They fall right for it. When good things happen, that's what they look like. But we're going to keep on keeping on. They can either jump on the bandwagon and try to have a little enjoyment out of life and hope for the best and work for the best, or continue being malcontents, miscreants, and misfits. Doesn't matter to me. Hi, Bill. You still buffering? A couple of videos you were up and it was buffering. How's everybody else doing? Fat guy on the seesaw. That's right, Benjamin. How's everybody else doing with the signal? I hope it's coming through good. I tell you, before I get into some of the stuff I was going to talk about, I want to show you all a forgotten movie. A forgotten movie. Nobody walks away. There aren't going to be any deals. I was checking out some things on the 17th board because thank you, Mike and Bev, for going to buy me a coffee and mentioning how prescient some of the past posts on 17 was. And I said, well, let me take a look at some of these. So I put in SCOTUS and this popped up. Put in SCOTUS, and I think it's only 3 or 4 posts. This is what popped up. Maybe we'll temporarily forget, you and me and a lot of other people, but the operators won't. Okay, the people that are working to change this disaster back to a functioning republic won't forget this. And the other movies we saw, Panic in DC, what was Guardian of the Files, right? Stuff like that. Well, I forgot all about this movie, Tarmac. Impossible to defend. The nail in many coffins. Toxic to those connected. We have it all. No deals. And boom. Now, who's this person in? I know Clinton. There. Loretta Lynch. Who's Rentier? Anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I thought I would put it up just to say, wait a minute. What does the CUE team like to do? When they least expect it. They don't talk about things and until it's time to smack them right upside the head. And then they go, oh yeah, that thing. Oh, I forgot about that. This was a screenshot from an ABC broadcast. Quite the meeting on the tarmac. Attorney General and former president stopped for chat. Why am I bringing it up now? Because this was the genesis. Hillary was going to win. Covered for Hillary would get a SCOTUS seat. It didn't happen to work out now, did it? What have you heard from Loretta Lynch? Nothing. Is that how we ended up with Ketanji Brown Jackson? The backup hitter for Loretta Lynch? Who's that guy in the background with the red tie on? I wonder if it's Eric and then I can't say his name really, but Charamella. He was, his name is verboten because he was the one who set up Trump or tried to set him up on the Ukraine call, right? The whistleblower. I don't know. I think we'll find out. Hired against Trump in his first term, spied on him, started the Steele dossier, all that stuff. Hey, Loretta, if you can get my wife off the hook for that email thing, there's a Supreme Court seat in it for you. And what if she loses? Loses? Are you kidding? We own the media. How could she lose? Our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Confederates, all conspiring. Along with what? The media. What's going on right now? Who should be thrown out like a dog? Members of the media. Specifically, the one in this clip right here. Even though she tries to paint the position. Oh, yes, we realize the military did a wonderful job. It was an early assessment. But what she also does is admits that somebody illegally gave her classified information.
CNN's Natasha Bertrand, who covers national security and was one of the reporters on this exclusive story that CNN broke the other day. And Natasha, it's great to have you here tonight. Just in terms of what we are hearing today and that briefing that we saw from the defense secretary this morning, which the president, I should note, announced as they were flying back last night together from the Netherlands. I wonder what you made of what he said and what you know based on your reporting.
Well, look, Caitlin, I think that the big takeaway from this briefing was that the Secretary of Defense confirmed our reporting. He confirmed that there was this very preliminary DIA assessment that, in his words, and as we have confirmed, was low confidence in nature because it was produced very soon after these strikes took place. It was an initial look at just what kind of damage was done by these U.S. military strikes. And I think strikes did not appear to have destroyed, at least at first glance, given all of the information that they had available to that time, at that time, the core components of Iran's nuclear program, and said that based on that, because it was unclear at that point just how much damage these bombs had done to the enriched uranium, including the centrifuges, then it appeared at that time that the program had only been set back by a few months. Now, the briefing today did not do much to give us any new information that would dispute that, and that is largely because the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence about it. That is what they're expected to do, as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane, said earlier today. He said, look, we're not going to do the battle damage assessment. That is up to the intelligence community. But he did lay out, as you said, a lot of interesting and really fascinating details about all of the decade-plus work that went into preparing for this kind of military operation, making sure the bombs hit their targets at exactly the right angle, the right speed, the right time. I mean, that is enormously difficult, and he did say that those bombs were believed to have gone down those ventilation shafts at Fordo nuclear facility, which is enormously important because, of course, if they go down those shafts, that indicates that there's going to be an explosion below ground, which is really key. But I think, one of the biggest questions also is what happened at the other facilities, because the U.S. military carried out strikes on Natanz nuclear facility, on Isfahan nuclear facility, and we don't know what the impact there was because the Secretary of Defense and the chairman really did not touch on that. So still a lot.
You don't know your ass from third base, so you don't need to know what's going on. But somebody told you, somebody gave you very detailed and highly classified information. Excuse me for using a word. But anyway, we'll get to the bottom of that. How much you want to bet she's going to get fired like a dog? Going to be out like a dog. Like this guy right here. I found this on Libs of TikTok. If you're on Twitter, Libs of TikTok, give them a follow and give hearts on all this stuff. They cover great stuff. James Ryan, president of the University of Virginia, has reportedly resigned following pressure from the DOJ, which believed that Ryan failed to dismantle its DEI programs and initiatives. Goodbye, creep. Are going to be following, are going to be towing the line just like this one. And we were told to keep an eye on resignations and people who are not running for office anymore. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Right here. Let me see. Oh, okay. There we go. Washington Post. Libs of TikTok. Breaking. Washington Post journalist Thomas LeGros arrested for possession of child porn. Award-winning journalist. I've got other reports too that give a little more details as to what he had. Some very seedy, unseemly, and disgusting things. Jack Posobiec said, "Why does this keep happening at Washington Post?" Hi, Gary. How you doing? Well, Bill, yeah, Sissy said, go out and come back. That's where you're refreshing your feed. Refreshing. There's nothing we can do about your feed. Nothing I can do. Hi, Candace. How you doing? Justin, nice to see you. Yeah, hi, Wayne. Nice to see you, too. I got 5x5s, flannel cheese. Nice to see you. Linda Maria and Kathy got 5x5s. Yeah, so you want to refresh your feed. Whoa, what happened to my chats? Come back. Oh, I was all the way up here. Yeah, and let us know how it does after you refresh the page. Check your feet. Yeah. Your feed or feet or whatever. Here we go. Who's this guy? What's going on here? Breaking. Republican. Nevada just announced he will not seek re-election in 2026. So long, you anti-Trump rhino. And you know what those initials stand for. Get the heck out. I put a GTHO when I put that up. GTHO. Get the heck out. And I really don't mean heck. More than that. So anyway, let us see. Dan Screeno put this out. Let's see. Is this the one that was 1 year ago today? Was it his debate with Biden? 1 year ago today. Is this about the debate? I'm not sure, but Screeno put this up.
Both however, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for the ability for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
A year ago today, and some of these judges we're dealing with were appointed less than a year ago. His brain was gone then. Auto pens, right? Let's see what Mr. T had to say about a lot of this stuff that was going on with the Supreme Court. I'll play this one first. Let me see. I don't know what order they're in, which subject he's talking about. We'll talk about it after the clip. Let's see. This was after the SCOTUS rulings.
Well, I think taking power away from these absolutely crazy radical left judges is a tremendous. This is such a big day. This is such a big day. It's like it's sort of sad because we're doing the signing at 3 o'clock, and this may very well dominate the signing of a big war that was going on and really affecting the continent of. And we're settling that war today, and this will probably be a headline. But this is a very big moment, and it gives power back to people that should have it, including Congress, including the presidency. And it only takes bad power away from judges. It really doesn't take power. It takes bad power, sick power, and unfair power. And it's really going to be, this is a very monumental decision.
Bad power, sick power. That's exactly right. Let's see, here's this other clip I've got. Come on the screen. There we go. Maybe I am, I don't know. Maybe I am lagging. It's hard to say. But anyway, we'll see what Mr. T's taking questions. What do they got to ask him?
By the way, so many questions. Should we keep this going, Pam? This is the opposite of Biden. Biden would take a half a question and he'd leave without answering.
Yeah, I put this clip in because I've said in the past, how many times have we seen these press gaggles that are just hostile, mean? Now it's full of energy, people wanting to keep asking questions. They're asking good questions. They're keeping out the creepos. And it makes for much better press conferences. Energetic. And the people want to be engaged. Let's see what else, Mr.
This decision, and thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she can talk as long as she wants because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank, again, the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court today.
Well, that's true. Well, it was a 6-3 decision. We did have a clown show with not just Ketanji Brown Jackson, but with Sotomayor. Not so much, not exactly as bad as Ketanji Brown, but Elena Kagan. Let's see. Where is that? Here we are. I think this is it. Application for partial stays granted. Barrett delivered the opinion of the court in which Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh joined. Thomas filed a concurring opinion, a separate opinion, in which Gorsuch joined Thomas. Alito filed a concurring opinion in which Thomas joined Alito. Kavanaugh filed a concurring opinion. Okay, good. I think it was Alito, Thomas, and Gorsuch. Pointed out that these judges are going to try to pull a stunt with class actions, and that they felt it should be addressed now. Because don't forget, the court is going on vacation. They're going to be gone for 3 months. They won't be back till October. How do we get any emergency appeals done by people like this freaky, goofy Boasberg? Whoa, wrong one. This character right here. Well, we have to hope that the appellate court reads what Kavanaugh, Thomas et al. Said about this attempt that they're going to try to circumvent the SCOTUS. So anyway, Sotomayor filed a dissent, which Kagan and Jackson joined. Okay, stupid dissent, but MSNBC was reading stuff out of the dissent instead of the opinion. The opinion is the law, okay? It's the supreme law of the land, not the dissent. The dissent is the losers. The opinion and the concurring opinions are what matters. But Jackson filed her own dissenting opinion. And it was so ridiculous and so out of touch that Sotomayor and Kagan would not join with her. And that brings me to what I think would work. Not just for, I'm going to leave him up there. I mean, this is a threat. That is a weirdo radical. And picture this. I have petitioned the court in my thumbnail. I think it would be very acceptable. Anybody can petition the court. You have a right to petition the court for redress, for remedy, any number of things. There are prisoners who file things with the Supreme Court that are written on toilet paper. They can still file them. Imagine the White House petitioning the court, the Supreme Court, for you get the language is something that could be worked on. Letting the Supreme Court know that they have what they already know they have of the court, but asking them for approval to present to the Senate a motion for a vote of no confidence in Miss Brown Jackson, or whatever her name is. The Constitution says they can keep their jobs upon their good behavior. Scholars are saying, well, you can't just have a simple majority of the Senate to vote justices out, because they'll be voting them out every time there's a change of power in Congress, every time there, a change in the political winds, they'll be swapping out justices. You can't set that kind of precedent. And they say, well, then the only other answer is the same number of votes as impeachment. You wouldn't be impeaching a judge. You would be removing because of bad behavior. But they don't give a numerical formula. So as I cogitated on that, I'm thinking, well, you could have a resolution originate in the House. Speaker Mike Johnson, simple majority, pass a resolution. Or, well, the Senate does a sense of the Senate. But this would be in the House. You start it in the House, the closest to the people. A resolution asking the president to petition the court to enjoin the Senate to conduct a vote of no confidence in Ketanji Brown Jackson. What would happen? The court would have to respond somehow. If Ketanji Brown Jackson would not be voting, she would be recused because it's about her own fate. And the Supreme Court would merely be agreeing to a vote in the Senate of no confidence in her performance due to her bad behavior. Then the Senate would receive that enjoinder from SCOTUS, originates in the House, goes to the president. The president petitions SCOTUS. SCOTUS says, we'll go along with whatever the Senate says. And if 5 of the 8 judges agree that this is a matter for the Senate to consider, the Senate would be compelled to take action. Of no confidence due to her bad behavior. Does it sound convoluted? Not really. It may sound convoluted, but it is not. What does it do? It creates consensus, which is what our brilliant founding document, the Constitution, does. Creates consensus between 3 bodies of government. The House is involved. The presidency is involved. The court is involved. And the Senate takes a vote. All three branches of government, plus both houses of Congress, and all three branches of government are in concurrence that action needs to be taken. And I think that would set a precedent. Not just for Jackson. You could start with Boasberg. You could start with anybody that is exhibiting bad behavior, using their power of their office to influence elections or to stymie the will of the American people by using what they call novel legal theories, and have them removed in such a way that no one can cry foul. What do you think of that, folks? Oh, Stanton, I appreciate that. Yeah, I have a link in the description. If you click on that link, I think they give you an opportunity to put your name on a cup, and then you can choose the number of coffees you'd like to buy. If you want to give that a try. Hang 'em high. Welcome aboard. Oh, all right. Deuteronomy. And this week, I thank Mike and Bev. Next week of the month. Let's see. Supreme Court is being put to the test. Yes, the Constitution is not complicated. It's elegant, eloquent, but not complicated. Just because it's eloquent doesn't make it complicated. It's clear. Unless you can't read script. So, what do you all think of my petition the court for removal? And you have it originate in the House. And if the House doesn't originate it, the president appoints judges with the advice and consent of the Senate. But I tell you, if you had it where every body was involved, yeah, everybody, and in concurrence that there needs to be something done. And something does need to be done. Whoops, what am I doing in my studio? Anyway, let's see. Here are, now, at first blush, these, well, I would say they, and you'll see a rogues gallery come on the screen. One of them, second from the left, is Mr. Sweaty Man. Many of you know who I'm talking about. But, yeah, they are down. They are depressed. They think the world's coming to an end. But you'll hear this specimen here on the right. She looks like that. She looks like a younger version of that SNL skit. Hey, there's Pat. They don't know whether she's a man or a woman, or remember that? But anyway, she gives away the game. You'll hear her mention class actions. They've been planning on this.
Melissa Murray, do you agree?
I completely agree with this. I want to go back to what Andrew was saying about the silver linings. I don't think there are silver linings here, and I want to be very clear with the viewers at home. This is a really grave situation. This court has effectively taken the restraints off of this administration, we don't have a Congress that is stepping in to rein in this administration. All we've had are lower court judges who are looking at the lawlessness of this administration, saying, not on my watch, imposing these nationwide injunctions to stop the damage in its tracks. And this court has now said that limited tool, that limited judicial remedy goes too far. And instead, what individual litigants are going to have to do is go to every district in this country to litigate to stop the administration in its tracks, or somehow find, at a time when the administration has made the availability of lawyers scarce, find a lawyer who is willing to take on the challenge of mounting a class action to go and challenge this administration. This court has made it absolutely impossible to try and stop the worst of what the administration is doing. So there really aren't silver linings. Yes, there are some litigants now who have amended their complaints and filed class actions, but the idea that we are going to do this for everything is really just unfathomable. It's not just birthright citizenship that is at stake. These nationwide injunctions have been used across the board to stop this administration from firing federal workers, to stop this administration from rescinding funding from research institutions and universities. All of that ends now. The gloves are off. There are no restraints, no checks on this administration. We are entering a very dangerous moment.
Melissa, let me read a little bit more from Justice Sotomayor's dissent.
Yeah, let her read from Sotomayor's dissent. That's not the law. That's the losing position. And they want to pump that drama garbage into people's heads. Sotomayor is only a click above Ketanji Brown Jackson with their stupidity and their histrionics that have no foundation in law. I would bet you that if Supreme Court received a petition from the White House to enjoin the Senate to take a vote of no confidence in Ketanji Brown Jackson, I would say you would get at least 5 votes, if not 6. And have her removed for bad behavior. And you can enumerate the bad behavior. Being unprepared for your job is not very good behavior. Not understanding the Constitution is not good behavior. Where is that? Here. This was something Amy Coney Barrett said about the principled dissent focuses on conventional legal terrain. The conventional dissent was the one Sotomayor and Kagan, along with Jackson, were all together on. They focused on conventional legal terrain like the Judiciary Act of 1789 and our cases on equity. Justice Jackson, however, chooses a startling line of attack that is tethered neither to these sources nor, frankly, to any doctrine whatsoever, waving away attention to the limits on judicial power as, quote, mind-numbingly technical query. A mind-numbingly technical query. I'm sorry your mind is numb, that you don't understand technical queries, but that's your damn job. And since you don't want to exercise your mind, or you're unable, or you don't want to ask somebody that does know bad behavior. Having a and then tarred making decisions, it ain't good behavior. So I am of a mind to take pen in hand and compose a tome to send to someone who might have a little influence on perhaps creating precedent that is sorely needed. Answer a question. How do we extricate these bad actors? Jonathan Turley, he came on a couple of times. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me find him. Here he is. And we all like Jonathan Turley, but talking about, this was before Trump's press conference, what his thoughts were on the matter.
Keep in mind, when we watch President Trump at the upcoming event, what was at stake was still his legacy. He went forward in a number of different ways to achieve the same results. But what presidents have said is that when these individual judges do this, it takes us a couple years often to run the course and reverse these things. Then we're in the second half of our term. We don't have time to fulfill our promises to voters. This doesn't make any sense. It's not workable. And here the Supreme Court is agreeing with the Trump administration that these judges are well past their authority given to them, and they need to cut back on these injunctions and focus on the parties in their immediate case, in their immediate.
Well past their authority, but that's what they're trying to do, run out the clock, take years to untangle some stupid knot they tie. They try to create some legal Gordian knot. Well, you know, the quickest way to get through a Gordian knot is just cut it. Here was after the press conference that Donald Trump held, and he was in a pretty good mood. I kind of thought things were going to fall his way because Trump was in a good mood yesterday. I know he gets heads up about this stuff.
Does look like a victory for the Trump administration. Justice Barrett is saying that the only way for justices to exercise this type of universal injunction in some of these cases is equitable relief. But she does not find evidence that that type of relief was granted to these judges. So they indicate that the administration is likely to prevail on this issue. All of that is going to be awfully good news for this administration. They have been really hit with these sort of Lilliputian attacks. All these individual district judges effectively freezing federal policy and programs across the country. So it does appear to be a victory. It may be a bit more nuanced, but so far it looks like a good day for the Trump.
Yeah, because not only were these injunctions quashed, but so many other things. Like, you know, I'm of a mind. Here's how the different news organizations put it up. To opt out of children out of classes. All right, who's this? I think this is Eyewitness News, ABC, subsidiary of Disney. The case brought by a group of, they have to put Christians, you know, because you got to pick on Jewish people and you got to pick on Christians. It's a pseudo victory for me. I'd rather have the Supreme Court saying to put people who put that kind of garbage in front of kids, go ahead and incarcerate them for lewd and lascivious conduct. But we'll take what we can get, right? Who's this? Newsmax. Breaking news. The Supreme Court ruled on Friday. Oh, this is, Maryland parents who have religious objections can pull their children from public school lessons using alphabet story groups. Alphabet, LBGTQ. I'd rather they get fired and prosecuted depending on, this is ABC News, depending on the severity of the images that they put before young people, they should be incarcerated. The Supreme Court on Friday granted a partial stay, ABC News again, of nationwide injunctions issued by district courts against President Donald Trump's executive order to effectively end birthright citizenship. And the reason ABC News highlighting the partial stay business, because they ruled that the judges can only work on what they have before them. They can't spread it out all the way across the country. So, this 3-month break, we got to see what kind of crap they're going to come up with to hold up the works. I was going to put in there in my thumbnail, but I don't only have room for so many words. Canada attacks. I'm looking for some of our Canadian people. I sure hope so, Gary. I sure hope so. Hi, Wanda. Oh, yeah, Stanton. I hope you had good luck with it, buddy. If you click, I had somebody that said, hey, I gave you some coffees. I went to Mountain Man and gave us, and it never showed up. And there's somebody else named Mountain Man. So the link is what you got to click onto. And at least you'll be able to see my page. So if you go to it another way besides my link, you can make sure you got the right Mountain Man. Here, I'll put this up because Mike and Bev were telling me I should show this more often. But I got it out of my studio by accident, and then I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it because it was down about 1,000 videos down, but I found it and put it back in my studio. So anyway, there you go. Buy me a coffee. Here, something put on Meta right here. This goes for judges, too. Everybody likes looking at pretty girls. And then, after they do that, they'll read the sign. Only traitors help invaders. That rhymes. We could do a country song. Country songs, it doesn't take much. If you strike a chord, she threw my keys in the bushes. Something like that. It's prone to take off, Here we go. Something else. Babylon Bee. Massive terrorist sleeper cell discovered in Massachusetts. Ha 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 ha. Roland, how you doing? There you are. What the heck are you all in Canada doing attacking us? I want to ask you. I know you don't approve. What did Trump say about that? Let me see. Was this Canada attacking? Yeah, Canada attacks. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they've charged our farmers as much as 400% tariff for years on dairy products, has just announced they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union, oh boy, which has done the same thing and is currently under discussion with us also. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada, effective and immediately. We will let Canada know. We'll let you know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So don't call us, we'll call you. And you want to play games, you want to mess around and find out? Fool around and find out. That way I can put FAFO without the wordy dirt, right? What else have we got from Mr. T? The great Republicans in the U.S. Senate. There you go. Call them the great Republicans. And but anyway, the great Republicans in the U.S. Senate are working all weekend to finish our one big, beautiful bill. We are on the precipice of delivering massive general tax cuts. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for seniors, permanently securing our borders, and even bigger and more powerful military. I rebuilt it during my first term, and it is already the best. But we will make it better. Unleashing our American economy, dominating the energy market, creating jobs, and getting money back to American families. The House of Representatives must be ready to send it to my desk before July 4th. We can get it done. It will be a wonderful celebration for our country, which is right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And to think, just last year, we were a laughingstock. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What else did Mr. T put up? Here we go. Giant win in the United States Supreme Court. Even the birthright citizen hoax, and that's what it's been, a hoax for over half a century, has been indirectly hit hard. It had to do with the babies of slaves. Same year, not the scamming of our immigration process. Congratulations to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Solicitor General John Sauer, and the entire DOJ. News conference at the White House, which I watched. And I enjoyed completely, totally enjoyed. Guess who is screwing around now? Guess who is screwing around now? The Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Out a bunch of garbage, half-hearted claims of victory. But I did point out that he had ceded his supreme power 6 or 8 guys, a supreme committee of some sort. Demonstrations in the street had no death to America signs, had no death to Israel signs, had no pictures, individual pictures, people holding up images of the Ayatollah, past and present. Every street protest in Iran had all that stuff. But amazingly, what we saw were just flags. So there is a... He apparently incurred the ire of Daddy. Daddy said the so-called supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei of the war-torn country of Iran says so blatantly and foolishly. Why would he say it so blatantly and foolishly that he won the war with Israel when he knows his statement is a lie? It is not so. As a man of great faith, he is not supposed to lie. His country was decimated. Wait a minute. President Trump. Is Hebrew Hammer in the chats? He'll tell you. Takia. That's lying, is a shield of faith. The shield of faith is takia, to lie. You're allowed to lie. His country was decimated. His 3 evil nuclear sites were obliterated. And I know exactly where he was. I knew exactly where he was sheltered, and would not let Israel or the U.S. Armed Forces, by far the greatest and most powerful in the world, terminate his life. I saved him from a very ugly and ignominious death. He does not have to say thank you, President Trump. In fact, In the final act of the war, I demanded that Israel bring back a very large group of planes which were heading directly to Tehran, looking for a big day, perhaps the final knockout. Oh, tremendous damage would have ensued, and many Iranians would have been killed. It was going to be the biggest attack of the war by far. During the last few days, I was working on the possible removal of sanctions and other things, which would have given a much better chance to Iran at a full, fast, and complete recovery. The sanctions are biting, but no. Instead, I get hit with a statement of anger, hatred, and disgust, and immediately dropped all work on sanction relief and more. Iran has got to get back into the world order flow, or things will only get worse for them. They are always so angry, hostile, and unhappy. Reminds me of a lot of people we know. And look what it has gotten them. A burned out, blown up country with no future, a decimated military, a horrible economy, and death all around them. They have no hope, and it will only get worse. I wish the leadership of Iran would realize that you often get more with honey than you do with vinegar. Peace. So, with them blocking the internet, I don't know. I think the Iranians are still going to be able to see that statement from Trump. I mean, the world hangs on Trump's words, and rightfully so. Let's see this here. Eric Doherty. Breaking. President Trump announces a list of policies that were blocked on nationwide injunctions, but can now proceed thanks to SCOTUS. Ending birthright citizenship. Ending funding for sanctuary cities. Suspending refugee settlement. Freezing unnecessary spending, federal funding. Stopping taxpayer funds for trans surgeries. Also, in a separate order, they kicked the props out from under Planned Parenthood and federal funding for Planned Parenthood. But let them get their class actions. We'll flush out more corrupt attorneys. We'll flush out more corrupt judges. They want to play around during the SCOTUS break? Yeah, good luck with that. We'll just keep flushing them out. What is this one about? Oh, Julie Kelly. As Kyle Cheney just reported, one of the parties in the SCOTUS preliminary injunction decision already filed an emergency motion asking for class-wide status in birthright citizenship executive order. They're already doing it. And Boasberg probably approved it. But another upside, she says, the left finally found a right that unborn babies should get. The right to be U.S. citizens upon birth. No clump of cells here. Yeah, what's that all about? On the one hand, the left are saying they're just a clump of cells. You can throw them in a trash pail. But now they're fighting tooth and nail for citizenship. Which is it? All children who have been born or will be born in the United States on or after February 19th, 2025, who are designated by Executive Order 14160 to be ineligible for birthright citizenship. And that's the way it's going to stay. But they're going to pull that class action crapola. Come on, what's going on in my studio? There we go. Working now. So everybody is catching their breath from all this stuff. And what does Trump do? He has a signing ceremony bringing peace between the Congo and, was it Angola? Wait a minute. They've been fighting for 30 flipping years, and it comes to an end. I watched a video where Trump said, I don't think they're going to really pay attention to what I did in Africa with this peace deal because SCOTUS is kind of taking the limelight, but that's okay as long as the people know. But anyway, here's part of the ceremony marking this historic day.
Thank you, Mr. It's a great honor. Thank you, Mr. President. So, as Caroline has mentioned, President, first of all, I want to let you know that I'm the only African reporter accredited here at the White House and covered for the entire continent. So, I just arrived from Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo, yesterday. I went to see firsthand how the people is feeling and the president's message, President Felix Tshisekedi, about this upcoming peace deal. And let me tell you firsthand what I've witnessed myself. I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself, I covered President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying in Congo. This country has so much potential, but they need help because this war is destroying the country. Right. They never gave me any answer. And he told me, President Tshisekedi, that you have no idea, he's very thankful for what you're doing, for what your administration is doing. Not only him, the entire Congolese people, they see that finally they will have hope. And President Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you deserve, you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice, boy, and that's so beautifully stated. And Caroline said, number one, she did say, and I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect, she said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. Okay? I'm not allowed to say that, that could be the end of my political career, but I say it anyway. But you are beautiful, and you're beautiful inside. So I wish I had more reporters like you. So you covered Africa for a long time?
Yes, for over 10 years.
Wow.
I cover even your first administration.
Yes, I know that. That's great. Well, thank you. That's so nice that you said that. Appreciate it.
And I have one more question,
yes.
Mr. President. Since we know in July or in the future, both President of Rwanda and the Congo will be coming to the United States. In Africa, President João Lourenço, the president of Angola, he is also the leader of African Union.
Good.
He worked very hard to bring peace, but unfortunately...
Let's get him here.
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
Would you invite him for me?
Of course.
Okay.
Of
No,
course.
we'll have. I know that he works very hard, and he's the head of essentially the union. So the union all over Africa, not the kind of union that we have. This is the union all over Africa, and I'd love to have him. So you'll let him know. Okay.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool. She said she was interviewing people in the streets, and they all know who Donald Trump is and what he's doing for their country. And, I wish the liberals would just cool off a little bit and try to appreciate this moment in history. Pay attention to these pressers and these meetings, because it's history in the making. We're seeing a sea change, a tectonic sea change in how things are being done all over the world. All the money that we spend on these shadow mercenary groups to go topple governments or play these games, we could deal directly with governments and create economic opportunity, on. And that's what Trump is doing. Let's see, what came up on my screen? Whoa. Oh, my word. There we go. Wait a minute. My studio is being finicky. This is the last thing I heard before I had to get ready to go live. Iran's nuclear facilities have been severely damaged and are effectively unusable following U.S. strikes, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said. Fidan stressed that the current situation creates conditions for the start of negotiations between Tehran and Washington. Earlier today, Iran's Foreign Minister Aragachi, I think it's how you say his name, also said the attacks had caused extensive and serious damage. So that is the last word, but not according to the left. Not according to the left. And the Ayatollah, we know he made a very big mistake. Here's something else. A couple of things from Libs of TikTok. New House Judiciary Committee reports finds at GARM, a massive advertising industry coalition, acted like a cartel. Is that who Carrie Lake was talking about? Acted like a cartel, which organized the corporate boycott of Twitter after Elon Musk's acquisition and to stop President Trump. Ad cartel colluded with foreign governments against Elon and Trump. Colluding with foreign governments. Remember that acronym, GARM, G-A-R-M. Because that sounds tribunal worthy. Oh, Clay Travis, I'll put this up. Citizens Free Press put it up, and so I said, looks like a good post to me. 21% of black men voted for Trump in 2024, per Pew Research. The most black men to vote for Republicans since Ike. And for any young people who might be tuning in, Ike is Eisenhower, okay? General Eisenhower, who was the Supreme Allied Commander during World War II and President of the United States just before John F. Kennedy. I like Ike was the campaign slogan. This is a seismic change, especially because it was fueled by younger black male voters. Men, white, black, Asian, and Hispanic are over the woke Democrat BS. Dan Squino put this up. This is Dan Squino. Finest hour. Boy, that'd have to be a heck of a day to be Trump's finest hour. June 21st, 2025. That was his finest hour. And the story is, among many people in the Anon group, excuse me, I have a sip of my coffee, see it as the biggest day because it's when Iran has been freed from deep state influence, when the nuclear facilities were blown up, the Ayatollah's been undermined. The Black Cats don't have the influence there anymore. They were going to start World War III at the behest of the Black Cats. Let me show you. I saw more than one person put this up. The Mar-a-Lago raid was about hiding information on the Iran deal. Remember this photograph? Where they claimed Trump had all this stuff strewn about? Paul Sperry says, developing. Sources tell me Biden DOJ was after Trump papers on Iran, particularly info about dismantling Obama's Iran nuke deal. Who would be most interested in securing that information? The architect of the Obama deal, who's now busy in the West Wing hammering out another sweetheart deal for Iran's national security advisor. This is something people pulled up out of the archives. But who is Sullivan's spouse? The counselor, top aide to Attorney General Merrick Garland, who personally ordered the raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate to allegedly find and seize, quote, nuclear secrets, unquote. His aide's name is Maggie, I can't read that name, Goodlander. Coincidence? Don't bet on it. Well, what was clandestine's analysis? Holy, you know what? I'm really going to blow your mind. Remember when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago and they posted pictures of some documents? One was dated May 9th, 2018, the exact day Trump abandoned Obama's Iran deal. Then Trump confirmed the Biden DOJ were after docs about Iran. Trump shared a truth from Paul Sperry, alleging that Biden DOJ were looking for info about Trump dismantling Obama's Iran nuke deal. Holy SHI, you know what? Biden weaponized the DOJ FBI to try to steal the documents proving that Biden committed treason. To do with the deep state trying to cover up their plan to let Iran build nukes. Trump knew the entire time. Don't forget to name John Kerry. Don't forget about the video we have of him having a secret meeting with high-level Iranian officials in Iran. And that a good portion of his family, direct family members, are members of the Muslim Brotherhood. And that the person who I played at the very beginning, John Brennan, is also a Muslim. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But we definitely, in the relatively short time since 9/11, we've had, in my opinion, a Muslim president, and now we have a front runner in the largest city, the biggest financial center in the United States, is also a Muslim. And Wokeness put this up. Sorhan Mamdani, whatever his name is, on why he wants to empty jails. Violence is an artificial construct. No, you want to do just what I played that little clip from Obama. We need our own civilian force. Yeah, you want them to be your leg breakers. That's what you want. Want to restore their voting rights? Give them police powers. Let them go around and beat up people in the streets. It's all the same suit, different bow tie, right? Same ones, Iran, Antifa, illegals, and the Democrat Party. Let me repeat that. Iran, Antifa, illegals, and the Democrat Party. They're all the same suit with a different bow tie. They all chant the same thing. Starting to see a pattern here? I certainly am. Remember that video I posted of Obama? Do I still have it in my studio? It's funny. I played it yesterday. I wonder if I still got it. I might have took it out to make room for more stuff. I don't know. No, here he is. Here he is. You remember this? Isn't this funny? It's funny how who's been thinking about Jean Pierre lately?
Ask me how can I mean Obama be the hidden puppet master for this administration, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's no evidence that Obama is Joe's puppet master. There's none. Absolutely none.
They would show plane wrecks from Canada and blame Trump. I'm sorry I had my mic off. Oh my goodness. Anyway, with everything that's going on, how long's my mic been off? No sound. I'm sorry. Anyway, I said everything that's been going on with Rwanda, with the Supreme Court, with Iran, with Canada, everything that's been happening today, he still took time to talk about rebuilding our entire air traffic control system. Like they're blaming us they're blaming Trump for everything. Every little private plane that crashed had nothing to do with it. Plane crashes in Canada, plane crashes in Timbuktu, or not in America, but you get my point.
After many years of decline in our air traffic control system, the One Big Beautiful Bill will modernize this decrepit relic and give America the best, most advanced air traffic control system on Earth, the best nations and radar systems, deteriorating hardware, and ancient software. This is really old stuff. It's ancient, with the latest 21st century tools and equipment. It will improve runway safety and build new air traffic control centers for the first time in more than 50 years and keep America flying safely and efficiently for decades to come. Many, many decades are going to go by before this one gets obsolete. It's the best in the world. It's time to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill into law. We're going to get it done. We're going to take care of air traffic control. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wonder. I was looking at what Miss Ministry said. My mic was off, but it's my distribution of the videos. That's what I'm wondering about. And I tell you, my notion for petitioning the Supreme Court to have Congress give a vote of no confidence, I think that's something that can get traction. Can get some traction. Let me see. What's this one? Another Babylon Bee? Oh, here we go. Hamas claims responsibility for New York City mayoral primary. Well, you know, people aren't dumb. They can tell what's going on. Who's this? Let's see. Sean Daniels. In her majority opinion for the Supreme Court, nuking universal injunctions, Amy Coney Barrett also juked Ketanji Brown Jackson from orbit. We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent, not to mention the Constitution itself. We observe only this. Justice Jackson decries an imperial executive while embracing an imperial judiciary. That's going down in the books as a smack in the face. A deserved smack in the face. That Supreme Court would have no problem approving a petition to have the Senate do a vote of no confidence and remove not just Brown Jackson, but these other judges that are causing trouble. Here's Posobiec. SCOTUS 6-3. They can protect kids from prawn by requiring age verification. This is not just the school ruling about taking your kids out, but on the internet. States can require some of these sites to have an effective way of verifying age. I've said before, a kid gets one of these picture phones and every creep, predator, weirdo in the world has access to a kid. What is this about? Have you all heard about this? New Democrat, this is from Diamond Silk, missing from Congress weeks after mysterious medical procedure. Representative Joyce Beatty, Democrat, Ohio. Hi, Colette. How you doing? Where's my plug? It says my battery's low. Have you all heard about this? Has yet to announce when the Congresswoman will be returning from work after a medical procedure. The absence is generating increased concerns. Maybe she'll come back like a guy. I don't know. Hi, Rain. How you doing? Yeah, she's not hard to look at, is she? With the red, white, and blue. Hi, Larry. Hangam. I'm going to call you Hangam. That way I won't get in trouble. Hangam. Sounds like, what was that guy that hop around singing a song? Oh, here's a funny story. Here's a bunch of screwballs over in Belgium. Balls all grabbed up, forced to sit down where the cops stand. They had a little protest. There they are. Got them all corralled. In Belgium, about 150 pro-Palestinian activists broke into military warehouses and damaged armored vehicles for Ukraine, thinking they were for Israel. Because of this, deliveries to Ukraine will be delayed for a month. The damage is estimated to be about 1 million euros. The activists hit the equipment with hammers and used paint. What a bunch of idiots. Because if you know they're pro-Hamas, that they're also Slava Ukraine, right? Did you know that, I didn't know this. Did you know that Japan has a death penalty? I thought they got rid of the death penalty. But I was wrong. This guy right here no longer exists. What did he do? Japan has executed a man convicted of murdering and dismembering 9 people in his apartment near Tokyo. They called him the Twitter Killer. He would get people to come to his house or apartment through Twitter. But he's not tweeting anymore. Never will again. Here, what is this? Oh, lives a TikTok again. That's worth looking at. Democrats and media are losing their minds over the wave of Supreme Court rulings. Yay! They're mad they can't show PORNN to kids in school and that illegals are getting deported. Anyway, here's the round of the... We know what the recent wins were. Oh, and then they did a video. I didn't copy the video. It's a woman screaming and yelling. Liberal has a meltdown over Supreme Court rulings. F the United States of America. F 1776. F the 4th of July. F all of it. Well, have a nice life, you freak. Because we're going to look at our girl right there. There she is. She's happy to be here. Proud to be here. That's what we used to say. Proud to be here. 2025 saw a drastic Social Security cut after DOJ cut everyone 120 years old and above. Democrats are mad now that now 180-year-old people are not getting Social Security. You see that drop off there in the upper corner in the red box? Unbelievable. Nick Sortor, let's see. Oh, yeah. Trump was working that peace deal. LMAO, a fake news reporter, just tried to changing the subject to Canada, and Trump told him to shut the hell up. There's no reason for these goons to be in the Oval Office. Yeah, he said, we're talking about the biggest peace deal in this continent in 30 years. And you want to go to Canada, talk about Canada? So They must have let one of the creepos in. Here you go. Here's the bottom line. Supreme Court legalizes Trump presidency. I mean, how long we been involved? He's been in office. Didn't have a free hand. Not one day, not 1 hour did they give him any peace to pursue. Line update. This is from Elon Musk reposted this. Department of Government Efficiency. They've continued the phone audit and has saved $2.84 million a year in unnecessary spending. Includes traditional landlines. They took away 661 out of 686. 96% terminated, saving $650,000 a year. 55% of mobile phones deactivated, saving $1.7 million a year. You got to start somewhere. 2,940 out of 5,340. And I'm sure they could have got a lot more than that. Can you imagine how important these people feel? You got to keep in mind, their whole claim to fame, all their arrogance, their affluence, their money, their, excuse me, but pissing and moaning, it's all rooted in being assigned these do-nothing bureaucrat positions. They don't know how to do anything else but be a mouthy bureaucrat with a cell phone and a credit card. And it's all getting taken away. That's why they're going nuts. Oh, this is, I already talked about this. Award-winning Washington Post editor arrested on child porn. Authorities discovered a folder on his work laptop. I had his picture up earlier. That allegedly contained 11 videos, not just pictures, depicting child S3X abuse material. And remember, Ketanji Brown Jackson's claim to fame was that she gave offenders just like this minimum jail time. One time she said, well, the pictures were old. They were like, 10 years old. So it wasn't like they were brand new pictures. It doesn't matter how old they are. It's the subject matter, you idiot. So she's got to go. The House passes a bill that ensures illegal aliens. I used to have to break that word up. Remember? Now I just say it. Who drive drunk get deported. 246 yay, 160 nay. All 160 votes were Democrats. Now they're mad that illegals can't drive around drunk. What is that, a constitutional right or something? Federal judge rules that Trump dropping an F-bomb without consulting Congress is unconstitutional. Ha 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 ha. Well, I'll tell you what. I started off with a clip of Kennedy. Let me see. I'll get him up here, and I'll finish off with a clip from Kennedy. Let me see. Get on the screen here. There we go. This was just before the news conference. Where did our friend go, Stanton? I hope he got to get through there. Oh, my goodness, what happened? My screen blew up. I want to put Kennedy up. Maybe they want to play that socialism clip again. I don't know what happened. My chat disappeared and that popped up. But anyway, I forgot to ask you all to give me a thumbs up. I hope you remember to give me a thumbs up. And I noticed some of my videos, over 30% of the people are not subscribed. If you subscribe, you'll know when I go live, and you could join us for the chats. But anyway, what do? I always thank you all for spending your precious time with me. We don't know how much of this precious time we got, and you only live once. Oh, a lot of them got locked up, Wanda. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more coming, right? So anyway, I don't remember what Kennedy was talking about, but we go out with something. I hope you enjoy this clip. And thanks again to Mike and Bev and Wayne for helping out this week on Buy Me a Coffee. And I hope you all have a great night. Enjoy the clip. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Anybody who knows a law book from an LL Bean catalog knows that federal judges just made up this concept of universal injunctions. There's no basis in statute, no basis in Supreme Court precedent. There's no basis in English common law. They just made it up because they don't agree with what a president or Congress has done. You know, if they disagree, I'm sorry. Fill out a hurt feelings report, buy a comfort rock. But they can't just say, I disagree and I'm putting the entire action by another branch of government on hold because I don't like it. And that's what they've been doing. And they're not the superior branch of government. They're an equal branch of government.